Right, so welcome to our very first Lunch and Learn of 2023. Today, we're going to be focusing on Allworx. And like I said before, please keep yourselves muted. We'd like to make sure that our presentations and our hosts can be heard and seen. So today, we're going to take you through Allworx. We're going to help you understand our voice over IP system. And we've got a few demonstrations for you. So let's get started here. So we're going to go through Meet the Hosts. Review of the Allworx system. We're going to have a live demonstration of Interact, as well as a live demonstration of Reach, which is our mobile app, and then an overview of our ACD application, and then a live demonstration of View. So a lot to cover in a half an hour, but don't worry, it's going to be fun. Oops. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So we're going to meet our hosts. So today we have Tom Keller from Allworx. He's the regional channel manager as well as a sales engineer. So we thank him for joining us today. We also have Eric Semmel, who is our vice president of sales and marketing, and then of TAB, and then myself, who is our learning and development coordinator here at TAB. So Eric, did you want to say a few words?
I'll say a quick few words before we hand it over to Tom to do a demo. Thanks, Rebecca. TAB's been providing a voice over IP system now to our clients, and it's been the Allworx system for over a decade. Voice over IP can be kind of complicated as folks try to understand how data is processed from the analog to the digital world. But the great thing about the Allworx system is that you're basically we're agnostic when it comes to dial tone. So you don't have to worry about high monthly costs with this voice over IP system. You buy it, you own it, and your support is also part of your support with TAB. So you have one company to work with for your IT and your phone systems. So I'm going to hand it over to Tom and have him take it away.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good. Let me start this slideshow here. So we are considered an all-in-one voice over IP platform. If you look at many of the solutions that are out there, most of our competitors, they have to provide their solution and it looks like a server farm. So for call processing, they may have a server. For auto attendant services, voicemail, they'll probably have another server. If they have mobility offerings, that would be yet another server. So we've been able to integrate all of that functionality into a nice 1U platform that's rack mountable or wall mountable. So basically what you can do, even though this diagram shows SIP trunks coming into the system, you do have dial tone options. You can use plain old telephone service, that would be analog lines. You do have the ability to federate a PRI or a fractional PRI, or if you want to go SIP, you can do that. So if you happen to be into an existing contract that's not over, we have many, many people that buy our system with the intentions of going to SIP. It's generally a lot less expensive, but they buy our system so that they can ride their contract out and then convert to SIP with nothing needed. So these are just an example of some of our customers. You'll find us primarily in small to medium-sized enterprise. Our systems can be provisioned for multi-site. So that means that if you had multiple physical locations, you could have our stuff installed in all of your locations, and it would seamlessly work as a single phone system. As a result of that, our platforms come in 3 sizes. So we're able to right size. So let's say you did have a multi-site and you had an office that might have 100 users. We could install a Connect 731, the system you see on the left. If you had a medium-sized office, maybe 30 to 50 users, you could use that 5 series system. And then if you had a small office that might have 4 or 5 users, up to 20 users, you could use that 3 series. We make a variety of handsets. The 9200 series, we don't really sell that anymore. Our new sets are called Verge. And as you're going to see when we get into the presentation, they have a huge amount of functionality that's actually embedded in the handset. So this is just a picture to show you what the front of the system looks like. So these systems are 100% solid state. So absolutely 100% solid state, and that means they're very, very reliable. So all of the mean time to failure calculations are well over 100,000 hours for every model. You'll see that on the front, there's 3 network ports. So there is an integrated firewall. So this system can be installed behind a firewall that might already exist at your office, or if needed, it could have a public IP address assigned to it. When you look at the back, there's going to be some terminal adapters. So just because we went to voice over IP does not mean that you're not going to have some legacy devices. Perhaps you might have a door phone with a door release. You might have an existing overhead paging system that still functions perfectly well that you might want to use. So we do provide the connections for those items. So what we're going to talk about is the feature set that's embedded in the handset. So we do what we call real-time contact sharing. So we've got the ability when you start installing our applications to actually get information out of your existing contact databases. You have the choice to decide which contact databases will be shared with all of your devices. We have another feature called instant call handoff. And what this feature does is if you take a call on your desk phone and you have our mobility client that could run on an Android or iOS device, you have a soft key to move that call to your mobile device so that you can move around or maybe leave the office. You can also do the opposite. If you're out on the road and you receive a business call and you walk back into your office, you also have the ability to instant call handoff back to your desk set. And if you wish to use your mobile device to actually control your desk phone, you can do that as well. And we do make a model of phone that does support Bluetooth. That's going to allow you to use a Bluetooth headset. But more importantly, it will allow you to pair your cell phone with your desk phone, which will then allow you to use the much higher quality audio capabilities that are in the desk set. So we actually have 4 phone models. We have a 9312. We have expanders that can be added to the 9312. So you can add 18 button increments to expand the phone out. We have an 8-button phone called a 9308, and we also have a 9304, which is not pictured here. So these phones are what we call self-labeling. So as you program buttons and add capabilities, they actually label themselves. You're going to find that below the display are going to be 3 contextual soft keys. The menus change depending on what state the phone's in. All of them are color display. They're all full duplex speaker phones. They all support HD audio. They all support 4-way conferencing. And they give you a visual ring indication. So we're going to do a close-up. So what you'll take note of is you won't see any type of text notation on these phones. You'll notice that it's all icon driven. So we're using the International Icon Standard. So let's go through what some of these functions are. So on the sides, you're going to have your programmable buttons. You can program things like contacts, speed dial keys, etc. So there's a whole plethora of stuff that can be added to these keys. Over right below the receiver is a full duplex speaker. Then what you're going to have is, for the most common things you would do with your phone, you would have a mute button, a button to toggle between headset audio and desk phone audio. You will have a speaker function button, i.e. a mute button. You will have a button that has the little Google symbol on it, right, that you see in Google Maps. That allows you to change your presence. We support 7 different presences. And when you put yourself, let's say, on vacation or out of the office, there will be a visual indication in our application so that your colleagues know that you're out of the office. And then you will see that there is a voicemail icon, and it will be lit red if you have new voicemails that have not been listened to. You're going to have an intercom button, a transfer button, a hold button, and volume control. And lastly, what you're going to have up here on the top is a contacts button. So we do have the ability to display all of your contacts. When you hit that button, you can type a few characters of the person you're looking for, and it'll break it down into a very short list. And there's also a 4-way scroll and select button. So let's look at the display itself. So if you see a user and they have a small red triangle in the corner, that is an indication that that is a user on this phone system. When I look at Jay Brown, I see the amber Ghostbuster symbol, and I see that the key out to the left of Gary Brown is illuminated amber, which is an indication he's in do not disturb mode. Down a little lower, I see that Jay Baker is on a call. So he's on an active call. I can see down here on the bottom that Diane is actually in a meeting. So I see the meeting's presence icon. And then up top here, I'm going to see the date and time, and I'll see if there's a Bluetooth connection. I will see that I have 1 missed call and 4 new voicemails. So let's talk about real-time contact sharing. So what will happen is when you install our mobility client, it's going to look at all the various contact databases that are on your device. So in this case, it's seeing contacts from LinkedIn, Facebook, Gmail, Yahoo Mail, iCloud. So it sees all those, and you can one by one select whether you want them to be part of your contact database. When you install Interact Professional, which is a Windows-based application, it will go out and it will read your Outlook contacts. And then it will make all of those contacts available on all devices. So again, it's always your choice. So you get to select which ones you want imported. Once they're imported to the system, only you have access to your personal contacts. Not even the Allworx system administrator can access them. To prevent hacking, you can restrict access by requiring a unique PIN. So here's an example of what you would see if you were installing our mobility application. You'll get a little thing that pops up and it says Reach has found personal contacts on this device. Now, obviously that's a Gmail contact, and it will ask you if you want to import it. You can say, okay, not now. If you hit the more info button, it will give you some more choices. So you can choose to import it without the image. You can say contacts stay on each device, contacts not used with Allworx apps, etc. So you can get very granular. Okay, I'm going to show you what moving your calls back and forth from your desk phone looks like. So when you're in a call, and I can see up here I'm in a call with Jeff Miller, my soft keys will change down here, and I now have a soft key that says handoff. When I press that soft key, it will instantly move that call over to my mobility application, where I also will see a shortcut right here that would allow me to push it back to the handset. So the mobility app, again, will run on Android and iOS devices. It doesn't have to be a smartphone. If you want it more real estate, you can use a tablet, of course. So, you know, we offer flexibility based on what you're trying to do with it. Bluetooth integration, of course, is available only on the 12-button phone. I'm going to jump over here. So what is included in an Allworx system? So you're going to get secure web administration, voicemail to email integration, 7 present settings with unlimited customized call routes, remote IP phone support. So if you've got some home office workers or someone needs to work out of their house, they'll have that capability. Auto attendance or self-help menus. And you'll get a web management interface for end users. So this is what the administration page looks like. That's what the user web interface looks like. And I'm going to kind of jump through here. And I want to point out that you have the ability to change your presence a few different ways. So presence can be changed on the handset, the desk set, the mobility client, and it can also be changed by your Outlook calendar. So we will read the Outlook calendar and we will change your presence. Okay, this is an example of voicemail to email. So again, it will appear in your inbox, and the attachment will be a wave attachment. You can optionally get SMS text alerts when new voicemails are received. We're going to talk about the mobility app just a little bit more, but this Reach app allows you full call control. So it allows you every capability that you would have at your desk. So of course you can transfer, hold, park with a single button touch. You can easily make 3-way calls. You can see your call history. One of the most liked features is the ability to graphically manage voicemail. So you can check your voicemail messages. You can see when they came in. You can go to a specific message. You will have an option to call the person that left you the voicemail back. Of course, you can change your present settings there as well. And this is an example of what it looks like. So you'll see that the real estate is different on the tablet, but they all have the same functionality. So the same features are included on both. So ReachLink is an addition that we did, and what ReachLink allows you to do is stay connected as you move from Wi-Fi to 4G. So if you're in your office, you might be on a Wi-Fi connection, and then when you walk outside of your building, you obviously will not be on Wi-Fi. At that point, you'll probably be on a LTE connection. So what ReachLink does is it will keep the call alive. If there's a few seconds that go by, it will tell the person on the other end that the call has dropped and ask them to stand by while it reconnects the call. And the other thing you can do is you can configure the system if the call gets dropped and cannot be reconnected to federate it as a cell call. So what will happen is if it's not connected within 3 to 4 seconds, the system will set up a cell call. So it'll hold on to the call and then set it up as a cell call. So I am going to jump out of here, and then we're going to show you what these apps look like real time. Rebecca, I'm going to go ahead and pull my app up, and I'm going to take myself out of a meeting so that you can call me from your cell phone.
Okay.
Let me put myself in office.
And this is all from his laptop or his desktop. This is a soft phone.
Correct. Now, this application, oh, there she is. So I have gotten her on the phone, and what has happened is I have gotten a screen pop. So this desktop application Interact, it also integrates with, and I'm going to probably have you call me again in a second after I get logged in. So Rebecca, I'm going to have you call me again, please. So we're going to see that I got a screen pop, and basically there is no entry for Rebecca, so I do not have her cell number. Now, had she called from her office, their company would have popped up. So Interact Professional does provide some integration with many web-based CRM applications. The other thing that it allows for is if I want to dial a phone number, if I glide over a phone number, it's going to change colors. So I'm able to dial out of most email. I'm able to dial out of pretty much any web-based application that has a phone number embedded in it. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back over here. And we're going to, of course, it's lunchtime, so you don't see a lot of activity. I'm seeing pretty much everyone company-wide on this application. I have selected users that are on the system. If I wanted to add my personal contacts, I could do this. This is giving me both. You'll see that some of these are starred, and I can click on any of these. So for instance, if I wanted to do Matt here, now when I hit my favorites menu, I'll see just my favorites menu. So you've got the ability to change the size of all of these applications. Each of these boxes is an actual application. So you don't have to display them all. You can resize them. Over here is my voicemail. So I can see all of my voicemails. I've got the ability to listen to them. I've got the ability to delete, mark as not listened to, or call back. So I have all that capability there. I have the ability. Let me silence this. I thought I had that silenced. Okay, I've got the ability also to initiate dialing on a dial pad. So I have all those capabilities. And then, of course, if I wanted to change my presence, I could go and put myself back in a meeting. I'm going to put myself actually on vacation, so you can see what this looks like. And I'm going to uncheck that and uncheck that. And you will see when I look at Ben Goldberg, I see this little house emblem, which is presence at home. When I look at my Tom Keller icon, you'll see right here, there is a little palm tree, and my presence is on vacation. So do we have any questions?
If you have any questions, you can use the chat to facilitate them.
Okay.
We don't have any right now.
All righty. Now I'm going to see if I can get my tablet. I'm going to see if I can cast my tablet up on the screen so they can see the mobility app.
And again, while Tom's doing this, one of the benefits of Allworx and a non-cloud-based system is you own it, you pay for it once. Most cloud-based systems are going to make you rent the handsets and the system per se by user per month in perpetuity forever. And there's no reason to do that. And you'll end up saving a ton of money by simply owning the handset. It has all the technology you'd want in a voice over IP system. Some people confuse that rental, that requirement to rental with voice over IP, and that's not required. You get all the power of voice over IP in the system itself that you pay for once.
Yes. Okay, let's see if this is going to cooperate.
And again, any questions, just put it right in the chat area of Zoom.
So we have a question. Is there a way to send a call directly to someone's voicemail?
Absolutely. So if you receive a call on a desk set, you're going to have a soft key that says send it to your voicemail. Another option is to send it to someone else's voicemail. So you'll
Very
have
popular
those
option.
options. And then the third option is just ignore, and it just kind of rings. And then, eventually it goes to voicemail. And of course, if I'm in a live call, let me pull this back up. Rebecca, would you be able to call me again? I
You
better
are on
I'm in-
vacation?
Yes, sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay. So you'll see right there, I have an option to send it to voicemail, or I can answer it. So if I do this, it would send it straight to my voicemail. If I had right-clicked over it, then I would have had even more options. The other thing this application allows for is when I'm on a call, if I need to transfer it to someone, I can just drag that call and drop it on any of these contacts, and it will make the transfer. Okay, let's see if I'm struggling with trying to get this thing.
I have another question.
Okay,
Is there a way to page someone?
yes. Yes, so you got the ability. There are 10 page zones on Allworx system. We typically will do it a couple different ways. You can just dial the page zone, and then everyone would be hearing that page through their desk sets. You've got the ability to program a button that says page. And if you have multiple zones, what a lot of people like to do is they will name their zones, and then they will have just a shortcut button that they press to initiate the page. So that is a good question. Okay.
We have another question. This one's kind of lengthy.
Okay.
So this user has a 6X and 9312s in their office. And when someone is on a phone call and another call comes in, the phones not in use do not ring. So the person on the phone is getting a beep over the existing phone call. They want to know how to adjust the phone settings so other phones ring when a call is coming in.
Okay, so that can be done, of course, in call routes. So you got the ability to say that if you're already on a call, you could ring some backup phones. So in other words, if your phone is not idle, call comes in, it would then ring maybe the backup people in the sales department. So that is done by programming. Rebecca, that's something that you guys would be able to do for your customers.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, another common thing that's asked is if I'm on a call and a second call comes in, you want to see that the second call came in, but you don't want it to actually ring. We have the ability to do that as well, so that you don't make the caller you're talking to think that someone else is more important because they hear the ring and then suddenly you put them on hold. So the answer is yes, we can definitely ring coverage phones. And that's simply done in programming. It's pretty easy. Okay, I'm having great difficulties casting this tablet.
It's okay. You can always look at moving on to the other
Okay.
area, which is the ACD app. You did go over the Reach Mobile, you just didn't show it live, and that's I think folks understand that the Reach Mobile is similar to this that you're showing us on your soft phone.
Exactly.
It works almost exactly the same.
Yes, it does. So are we looking at the view application or just going over the functionality of the ACD?
You can look at the ACD and the view.
Okay.
What comes with the system as far as automatic call distribution and a little bit of information on the view that is built into the system.
So Tom, before you get out of the Allworx Interact, we did have one more question. How to retrieve a call that someone has parked?
Oh, okay. I'm going to do that, but to do that, I'm going to have to ask you to call me again, and then I'm going to park you, and then I'll get you back. So right here, I got my screen pop, of course, and I've got Rebecca. Now, I've got all these options. So if I want to park, I can just say system park. And now that call is being parked and Rebecca would be hearing music on hold. Now I see over here in my park pane that I have one call parked. When I do that, I will see it. And then I have a retrieve option. And now we are back talking again. Okay.
Very good.
So let me, okay, so ACD is a feature that gets added to the system. It is a feature key, as is view and managing the ACD with displays and things like that. So I'm going to hop in and show you what a system looks like.
And while he's doing that, again, another benefit of Allworx is you don't have to buy everything. You only need what you need, and that's the beauty of the keys and the user counts. You're only purchasing what you need.
Exactly. You're right sizing the system. It's exactly correct. So again, everything's configured through a web interface. So when I go in here, if I wanted to set up a queue, I would simply come in and I would give it a name and I could say, this is the sales queue. Then there are going to be a bunch of questions that it asked me. But the important one is the second one. How do I want to distribute calls? So I could ring all of the agents. I could do a sequential round robin, which is what I have chosen. I could do linear priority, which is skills based. And I could send calls to the person that's been idle the longest. So once I set up this queue, then I will program what we call an ACD appearance. And the ACD appearance allows the agents to log in and log out and put themselves in a busy state. And once it's configured, we will start collecting data on all of the calls coming into the system. So we'll be selecting queue-based calls, regular calls, it doesn't matter. Every call that comes into the system, we have the ability to report on. And so I'm going to jump into my view server real quick. And we'll show you what some of the reporting capabilities are, because reporting should be looked at as business intelligence. So you can really see how your business is operating. And if you're doing campaigns and various things, you want to know, how productive those are. So basically, when I log into this application, I'm going to show you a couple reports that I built so you can get about an idea of, what we're able to do. So I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to do an agent report, and I'm going to do an agent summary. So you can go in and run these reports on demand. Okay, agent summary. And when I go in there, all I do, everything is going to be a pull down. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select some agents. Now, this particular system, our developers wrote a software script that generates traffic. And I can go in and select the time frame that I'm looking at. So if I wanted to look at, say, yesterday's, and I might want to group it by hour. And then I'm going to run this query. So basically, it's looking through the database and it's collecting all of the records that have to do with those agents for yesterday. I really need to pare this down because it generates about 80,000 records a day, and it's been about 3 years since I purged any information. So there's like 83 million records in here. Normally it would be a lot quicker. So we'll give it a second here.
But again, once it comes up, you're going to see, how many agents took how many calls for how long.
Exactly.
Looking at.
And yes, and we'll see a lot of information like abandoned calls and different things. You basically,
right, yeah, missed calls.
Yeah, you get to select, the data elements that you want to appear in the report. This should pop up any minute.
$80 million records is a lot of records, Tom.
I know. The next thing I'm going to do this afternoon is knock off 2 years worth of records or 3 years.
But again, it shows you again if agents are missing calls, who's taking all the calls, who's not taking the calls, who tends to be idle all the time. Why is that the case? And then you can manage your folks who are supposed to be answering these calls. There you go.
Yeah, so I got this information, so it pulled it. Now, if I save it, then I can rerun it. So I can save it and give a name. So again, you're querying a database. Once you get the information you want, you will save the query, and then that report can be run at a later time, or we can use the scheduling engine. I'm going to export it into a PDF format so that you can see the information a lot better. So this is telling you by agent, right, what they took, what their average time to answer a call is, how many calls they serviced, the longest call, etc. So those were the data elements that I picked. I'm going to show you an example of how a call center manager would manage their queues. So I'm going to show you a couple. Let's go in and run this one. So we basically, when we create these, you get the ability up here on the top, to specify what information is going to happen. Let me show you a different one because you can actually go up and do a message. I'm going to go look at the sales queues. Let's see what we get for this one. So this is showing me the status of all of the agents. So I can see, if they're on a call, I can see if they missed. What you'll notice is their colors on this screen. So you set up service level metrics, and as things start to get out of control, you'll see stuff go amber, then you'll see it go red. So I can see, how many calls are coming in, how many are being serviced. I can see if someone's logged out, etc. Let me show you a more complex, because we do a lot of different types of charts. So I'm going to go in and do this one. This one will show all the various formats. So what you're seeing at the top is what we call the marquee, and that marquee can scroll through. Now, when you look at this dashboard, I'm displaying the same information. So this on the left side is the queue depth. It's in a stopwatch format. I'm showing the very same thing on the right side, but it's like a speedometer format. This one in the middle is showing multiple metrics in the same chart. So I'm looking at maximum queue depth versus average. So this would be the maximum, of course, and this would be the average. And you can see that it just turned yellow. So I have my queue depth. I don't want it to ever get over 3. So when it hits 2, it turns yellow. Down here, I'm comparing agents. So I'm looking at the multi-agent history, average time to answer a call. I can see that this guy, good guy right here, is not doing so good. Again, multi-agent history, max time to answer over here. It's in a different format. And again, good guy is not performing very well. Now, since I have the ability to scroll, you're going to see different stuff scrolling down here. So in this particular case on the bottom, I've got multiple agents, more than will fit on a screen. And so I'm scrolling through these different metrics. So this would be a good application, say, for a wall board. So, and it can also be displayed, of course, in a web browser, and know that it's in the middle, not a Mexican flag. It's an actual bar chart that goes out to the right. So I'm able to, have a real-time view of what's going on in my contact center. Any questions?
Yes, we have a couple, not necessarily related to this. We have more that are related to the handset functions.
Okay, great.
Okay, so is the system capable of speed dialing?
Absolutely. Yes, so that's a very good question. So I'm going to jump into this system over here, since I was already logged into it. And basically, you're going to build something. Let me get down here. Public contacts. So public contacts are essentially speed dials. So we classify contacts as system contacts, contacts of people that are not on the system, i.e. speed dials. They can be added. They can also be imported from a CSV file, but you have the ability to go in here and then you can specify a phone number that's going to be dialed. And then you can assign a name, an organization, and a nickname. So this would allow you to build a database. When you hit your directory key on your phone, public contacts appear in that directory for everybody. If you want to program a button on a handset, if you have certain contacts that you interface with very often, then you would want to probably program a contacts button. Now, if I have an 8-button phone, I want to show you that the 8-button phone is actually a 40-button phone. By using the scroll bar that's up on the right of the phone, I get 5 pages of programmable keys. And on those keys, I could start just programming contacts so that I could speed dial them, or I can use it also to transfer. So if I get a call and I often have to send it someplace and it's off net, I can just simply hit that contact button and it will transfer the call I'm on to that contact. Sounds like we had another question, Rebecca.
Yes. So we have a user who's cleared all of their voicemail messages, but the system is telling her
Yes.
that she still has messages.
Yes. So we can talk offline, but basically there is a setting, so it's probably telling her that she's got 0 voicemail messages and 5 new email messages, is what I'm
Yes.
thinking.
Yep.
The only way that you would receive a voicemail, in other words, the system receives an email on your behalf, is because in their settings, they have said they want delivery delay notifications returned to them. So I can show Rebecca, I can show one of your technicians that setting.
Okay.
And then what they're going to do, I need to try to move some stuff around. I keep getting blocked. What's going to happen is in the reports section, we're going to have one of your technicians go in to the user report. And if there are any voicemails or emails, they will show up right here. And then we've got the ability right here to delete them so they go away. And then we will want to make sure that the voicemail to email setup for that individual user does not have delay notifications checked. And that way they'll stop receiving them. So it would probably be a good idea to go into their system and just get rid of all of the voicemails that you see. And then if you see them for certain people, record who it is. And you got the ability to hop to that user. So if I wanted to change Linda's, I could hop over there and I could go to the voicemail to email settings. And I could say, you know, that we do not want to be notified of delays. Other questions?
We don't have any other specific questions.
Okay. Well, I think we came in right on time.
I think so. We just have a couple more slides to show and then that's that.
Wrap. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
Right, so we just want to thank you all for attending our very first Lunch and Learn of 2023. And in our, as a token of our appreciation, if you decide to purchase an Allworx system within 90 days of this presentation, we will give you a few discounts. So $500 software option on a 3-series server, a $750 software option on a 5-series server, or a $1,000 software option on a 7-series server. So you can contact us at sales@tabbing.com. You can call us. And if you want to speak to sales, it's option 2. Or you can find us on the web at tabbing.com. Or you can also find us on all the social media channels. But we really appreciate you guys hopping on with us and spending a few minutes of your day and having some lunch with us.
Yes, thank you very much for your valuable time.
Thank you, Tom. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. Hope you learned something.
Hope so.
Okay.